calcium to this part of your body to break it down. I mean, it's a whole crazy complicated science. But just know, again, for your basics, that making sure that you're intaking enough minerals and vitamins is very important to whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, including like muscle growth. You know, like if Matt's like, I want to gain 10 pounds of muscle, like all of this still applies for all of that, okay? Water, I mean, we already touched base a lot on water, so I'm not really going to speak much more to that, but our body is made up of 70% of water, and water is very essential to carry nutrients to cells and flush waste products out of our system. So like I was saying before, like how you need vitamin C to carry calcium to X, Y, and D, you need water to help transport those to where they're meant to be in order for them to function properly. And then of course you need water to flush out all the excess stuff that your body doesn't need, right? Do you guys have any questions on micronutrients? Yes, Anna?
So vitamin is something like I'm always so confused about. I know that when your body digests certain foods, there's certain things that you take in. But like, how do you know what vitamins to take, what vitamins not to take, and how much to take? Like that's my biggest, I guess, confusion when it comes to nutrition.
So they have standards of how much vitamins you should take per day based on the vitamin. I mean, I can send you that whole thing, right? So then you balance out, but you never, so what I love the most is, I mean, we can talk about supplements real quick, but what I love the most is when people come to me and they're like, oh, I'm taking an iron supplement. And I'm like, okay, why? They're like, oh, because I just think I need more iron, okay? I'm like, well, why? Let's start with why you think that, right? Your body can only intake and it can only absorb a certain amount of vitamins and minerals. If you're just taking a supplement just because you think you need to take a supplement, your body's not doing anything with that but peeing it out. So pretty much you're wasting your time and you're wasting your mentality, you know, your mental, like, you know, you're just wasting your money, you're wasting everything. So if you have an actual concern of why your body's feeling a certain way, and there's for whatever reason you want to take that supplement, and we'll get into it because I'm going to talk about listening to your body, but you know, you take further steps, but beyond like, oh, I'm tired all the time, like maybe I'm anemic, I'm just going to start taking some iron pills, you know, it's just crazy. So to answer your question, I can give you that list, right? So then you can base upon when you track your diet, when you, like Matt was saying, writing it down, being aware of what you're eating, and the FitnessPal is phenomenal for that, although it doesn't give you every single nutrient, but you can kind of play with it a little bit, and then you'll see. And then last resort, you can always get your blood taken, we can tell you where you're deficient. Okay, so listen to your body, okay? So like I was just saying, so many people will come to me saying, oh, I feel this, I feel that, like I'm gonna go see a naturopath or an endocrinologist or whatever it may be, okay? My belief and what I've been taught and is really how you feel on your day-to-day is based upon your nutrition, okay? As crazy as this may sound, food controls your body and it controls your every single day. So if you wake up one day or for like weeks or whatever it may be and you're like, oh, I'm feeling tired, I'm sluggish, like I'm like mentally like can't get into it, you know? There's a lot of factors that go into that, you know, stress being one of them for sure. But I want you guys to just think about for a second, you know, where that's coming from. So don't jump to conclusions, don't race to a doctor. Unfortunately, I'm not the biggest fan of doctors out there because I believe that they're just there to make money and they will tell you anything you want to hear and they will give you any prescription that you want because they make money off of giving you prescriptions. That's how that whole industry works, okay? So the basics, you want to start with listening to your body, okay? So you want to learn to know where your diet lacks and where your body is deficient before you assume your deficiencies on your own, okay? So step 2 would be aware of your food amounts and what you're consuming daily. So meaning your daily energy intake, which I'm going to get into that as well. Okay, so step 3 is your meal frequency, your hydration, and again, sleep patterns. Okay, so meal frequency is very important. I hear a lot of people that say like, oh, I eat so much for breakfast and then I don't really eat much later on in the day. Or they'll say, oh, I ate at 7 o'clock in the morning and then just because I ate so much, I wasn't that hungry, and then I ate again at 3 or at 1, and then I crashed at 3. You know, you want to stay consistent with your meal planning. Is the key, I think, to success on, you know, your day-to-day and how you're feeling. So you want to do smaller 3 meals with 2 meals in between. So yeah, so listen to your body before you go out there and just assume that there's something wrong with you and you like need to get drugs or supplements or whatever it may be, right? Nutrition is your starting foundation of how you feel.
Just real quick on that, kind of piggybacking off of that, there's a lot of people who have food intolerances and food allergies to certain foods. So the major ones are nuts, gluten, dairy, and soy. So based on listening to your body, listen to your body based on your energy and how you feel based on how you take on certain nutrients. Obviously, the blood test would be the best way to go. There are certain ways where you can take something out for 4 weeks and then reintroduce it back in your diet and see how you feel. It's a very time-weighted process, but it does work. Or you can just get a blood test done. If you do find something that you're allergic to, normally it is something that you take in on a daily basis. So if I eat eggs every day, there's a good chance that have some intolerance to eggs or nuts or whatever it is. So it's usually something that you take in every day, or if you take it out, you start craving it, then there's a chance that you are allergic or have an intolerance to that food. But just be aware that if you do take that food out, make sure that you do get touches on that food as well too. So if you're allergic to gluten, or if you're allergic to dairy, you take dairy out, that is good, but do get some touches of dairy within your diet, because you still want to build those antibodies based on breaking down lactose, or having digestive enzyme lactate to break down lactose. So if you do get in a situation where you don't have gluten, you don't have dairy or soy, whatever it is that you're allergic to, and it shows up in one of these hidden ingredients, or you're out to dinner and you have it, there's a lot of cases that some of my friends, the belly with the gluten, I don't know if you guys ever experienced that, but literally your belly will explode and you have to like unbuckle your belt and it looks like you're pregnant.
The reason for that is because carbohydrates are digested in your intestines. It's not digested in your stomach. So when you guys eat bread or pasta and then like you're unbuttoning your pants, it's because it goes straight through your stomach and into your intestines, and that's where it gets broken down. So that's why people are always like have that super bloated, gut. We all have it, right? Because that's just how our body breaks it down. It breaks it down in your intestines, not in your stomach, and that's why.
Yeah. So just get touches on that based on your insensitivity. So don't take it completely out of your diet. Because if you put it back in, or you get it by accident, you're gonna really feel it. You're not getting antibodies to fight against that.
But again, basics.
Basics.
It's
Hashtag basics.
Hashtag basics. All right, so I want to talk about portion control and how to eat for you. Okay, so we all need to eat based on our bodies, our weight, our height. Everything is based upon. We all have different standards, right? So for protein, okay, so for protein, your portion for your protein should be the palm of your hand. Again, so a lot of people, I get a lot, when I'm making chicken, like how much do I know what to eat? I don't have a food scale, and then people, and I don't blame them. They don't want to go buy a food scale and be like obsessed about like, I have to eat, there's only 3.5 ounces on the scale, I need a half ounce more, So just an awareness of how to eat for you. You want protein, it should be in the palm of your hand, okay? Carbohydrates is a closed fist. So I'm talking about like your portion on your plate, right? So protein is palm of your hand, carbs is the closed fist. Your vegetables, the standard vegetable portion size is the outline of your plate around your protein and your carbs. However, I don't really believe that you can overeat vegetables. So, but if you're doing your portion control, you should do your vegetables around your plate. Fruit is the same, it's closed fist, but I want you guys to be careful with fruit consumption. Although fruits are full of a lot of natural vitamins and minerals and whatever, their sugar intakes are high, and sugar is sugar, regardless of where it's coming from. So on your day-to-day, you really should not intake more than 25 to 35 grams of sugar every day. That's it. So when you pick up a yogurt and you look at that and you see the sugar intake is like 30 grams or whatever it is, just know that that's just too much sugar. I would rather you buy plain yogurt, put cinnamon in it, add your fruit to it. So just a FYI on that. So your oils and your butter should be the size of your thumb, okay, or 1 to 2 tablespoons. And your nuts and seeds is a closed handful, or just give you a measurement there, like 1/4 of a cup is a good portion for your nuts and seeds.
Just real quick on the fruit, don't get confused between actual fruit and fruit juice. There's a big difference between that. So when you're taking fruit, you do have the micronutrients, the fiber. It does have the same insulin effect as if you're just taking, pure sugar, artificial sugar, whatever it is. So your insulin is going to spike, but you do take in those micronutrients, and the fiber will help your blood sugar sustain a little bit longer. As opposed with the fruit juice, there's a good marketing campaign. Orange juice in the morning or apple juice, like you think, yes, apples are healthy, yes, oranges are healthy, but if you look at the ingredients, there's no fiber in there, so you're basically just taking in straight sugar, and it's just going to skyrocket your insulin
Fresh
levels.
squeeze.
What's that?
Fine.
Fresh squeeze.
It's fine.
Fresh press?
Like if you're taking
Oh,
an
yeah,
orange
that's
and
fine.
you're squeezing that
I'm talking about just like in the supermarket,
It's not from the bottle.
Florida's Best or whatever,
So everything I reference here is based upon Whole Foods, farm to table situation. I will never ever preach processed product foods ever. So everything that I speak of is, yes, Jay?
Oh, on that juicing thing, right? Has anyone ever tried to make 8-ounce glass of orange juice?
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah, how many oranges?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, it's like this much.
yeah.
Right? That's why like that juice is so concentrated.
Yes.
Yeah. And when you see something like added vitamin C, added fiber, added whatever to bread, whatever, any products, just stay away from that. Your body's not going to absorb it. It's just chemically processed shit. Like it should just be just regular, like the fiber should already be in there. You shouldn't have to add extra vitamins. You shouldn't have to add extra whatever. Right. And also just real quick on the nutrition label, whatever nutrition they're labeled first, that's the highest ingredient in there. So look at those nutrition labels. Whatever's first or second, whatever, is labeled in base of how much of the ingredient is in that label.
So there's just a visual just to give you guys for your hand guide. Again, your protein is the palm of your hand, your veggie is the plate or closed fist, your fat and carbs.
That does work too. It's crazy. And it's a very simple, no equipment used
You don't need a
approach to it.
scale, just use your hands.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
So if you don't want to count 10 almonds or 3 ounces of chicken. And,
What? Right. I guess so. I got little hands, I don't know.
yeah.
All right, guys, so this is a little complicated and I don't want to get you guys confused here, but I'm going to talk a little bit about calorie counting versus macronutrient counting, okay? It's very important to count your day-to-day based on your macronutrients, the percentages that we were talking about. However, in order to get those percentages, you need to be aware of your calories, okay? But you hear a lot of people saying, oh, I have to meet X, Y, and Z calories. Well, calories it's such a broad spectrum. Like you could just eat to meet your calories, but you could not be meeting your percentages based upon what your macronutrients should be on a day-to-day. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. So first, to calculate your basal metabolic rate, so that is your body burning at rest. So that's what you need to intake every day just to survive. Okay, this does not include fitness. Fitness is an add to it, so what you burn, you need to bring back. Okay, but the Harris-Benedict equation, this is like a math genius that came up with this equation. Please don't ask me where these numbers come from. I don't know, right? But this is the equation that is broken down to get your calories. So I've played with this equation. I've compared it to a bunch of other ones out there, including like MyFitnessPal. There's so many websites out there where you put in your body weight, your height, whatever, calculates. They're all kind of one and the same. But I feel that this is probably one of the best ones out there, right? So it depends upon men and women, but you want to find your weight in kilograms and your height in centimeters and your age. That's all you need. So you need these numbers to add, multiply again. I'm not going to break down what it is for men and women. If you guys want this equation, I'm happy to send it to you and you guys can do it yourself, but yes,
Isn't that going to differ based on your body fat percentage, your metabolic rate?
is it what?
Like, what number is it giving you? Like, number of calories per day?
Yes.
Like,
It's
what if
just-
your metabolic rate is way higher than like standard and your calorie intake? Like, your body fat, like, for people who are here who actually do work out, that's not always.
Well, again, so if you were to do this equation today, right, and whatever number that populates, that's what you need. So say you stopped working out, right? That's what you need every day. Again, we're just doing the basics. That's what you need every single day for your body to work and function properly, okay? From there, you take that number that it populates, so say it comes out to like 1,700, you know, whatever it may be. Then you go into, for fitness, you know, you go into multiplying it by these 3 to determine your caloric needs based on your fitness, okay? So if you do no or little exercise, you calculate that number by 1.2. If you have moderate activity, so 30 to 60 minute exercise 3 to 4 times a day, which is, I would say, a lot of people in here, you would multiply that by 1.3, and if you're extremely active, you know, then you would up that to 1.4. So that's meaning more than an hour a day, 5 to 7 days a week. Okay, so that's like extreme fitness right there, right?
There's tons and tons of factors, and that's like where the whole diet thing comes in. And you know, you're taking something like CrossFit, and there's constantly very high intensity functional movements.
Yes.
And then, you know, you don't really know exactly how much calories we're burning, even if you have it on your watch, whatever. There's no, you know, unless we're enclosed in a room and you're measuring oxygen and carbon dioxide and everything. This is just kind of like a general baseline to give you an idea of where you should be at. And this equation is actually, it's pretty accurate. But of course, you know, if the old school way was, you know, track and field or bodybuilding, whatever it is, like the goals were pretty specific and sport specific. So if you're a 100-meter sprinter, then you'd want more protein, more fats, little carb. But if you're more of a mile, 5 mile, whatever it is, you want more carbs. And then you can easily base workouts and diet based on that. But now when we're doing CrossFit, something, or high intensity functional movements constantly varied, we're taking strength training, we're taking gymnastics, we're taking metabolic conditioning. So now like there's a whole realm of different things going on, right? So it's like almost impossible.
But I will say, to add on to that, you know, your average, we come in here and all people do into all gyms, and you're like, oh, I probably burned like 800-900 calories today. I need to replace that. Don't jump to conclusions there, because, you know, there's a lot of times where I track my heart rate and my calorie burn, and I would say on average it's like 300 to 500 calories. It's really not like that extreme. So don't think because you're coming in here for an hour and you're like sweating your ass off, you know, and you're working out for a long period of time, that you can go and consume 800 more calories. You know, it's all about just being aware. And again, basics starting from the bottom. You know, you want to. What? It's true though. It's very true. You know.
Yeah. What'd you say? What'd you say, guys?
It just ruined my life.
What, based on how many calories you burn?
I was thinking I could just eat any pizza I want.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're looking at it in that sense, based on anything that's not going on in your body, if you put you on a treadmill for 60 minutes and just do steady state cardio, you're probably going to burn as much or more calories doing that than you would within a CrossFit class, right? But in that CrossFit class, you're breaking down muscle, or not even CrossFit, just general strength and conditioning. You're breaking down muscle, and then your body repairs and goes through, you know, ups and downs based on your repairing and growing, and then getting your body back to homeostasis requires calories and burning. So as opposed to just steady state conditioning, we're not really breaking down any muscle, you're doing strength training. In order to repair and grow, your body is burning calories, and then of course your metabolism getting revved up and you're burning calories from there too. So don't get too discouraged based on strictly just numbers of how many calories you're burning.
But again, this is just a baseline. This is a number that you start at, and then you know, modify it based upon, I mean, I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but based upon your needs, what your goals are, what you're trying to achieve, okay? So counting macronutrients versus calories. Again, like I was saying, I don't ever want anybody to count a calorie, because if you're counting calories, you might get lost in what your macronutrient needs are. So you might eat a lot more protein than you're eating carbs or fats, or, you know, whatever that equation may be, but you want to focus on meeting your requirements of your carbs, fats, and proteins every single day, right? So that's why I prefer for you to pay attention to your macros and not so much your calories. But you do need your calories in order to break down what your macro needs are, okay? So to start with carbohydrates, so So this is recommended by the Food and Nutrition Board, which is a subgroup of the Institute of Medicine. So carbohydrates, most of your calorie needs should come from complex carbohydrates, okay? Again, this is all modified based on what you're trying to achieve, your goals, but again, this is just the basics, okay? So your range there is 40 to 60%. When you go up to the 60%, that's more so for people that are, soccer athletes, football athletes, that's what we're talking about. For CrossFitters, for us, I don't think your carbohydrates need to be that high. So carbohydrates, this is just an FYI, carbohydrates provide 4 calories per 1 gram, okay? Might get a little tricky, but I just wanted to throw that out there for you guys, just an FYI. So again, carbohydrates provide a quick source of energy. Your fats. So calories from fats should be our second focus of consumption here. Fat is the most energy-dense macronutrient. So when I say that, so the best way to describe a carb versus a fat is based upon the molecule, right? The molecular breakdown. So a carb is a very quick molecule, short, and fat is very long. So in order for your body to process those two things, it's going to process carbohydrates really quickly, and it's going to take a lot longer to break down your fats, okay? So your range there is between 20 and 30%. You should never go above 30% for your fat, ever, okay? So your fats provide 9 calories per 1 gram, and again, they provide just much longer energy. Your protein, so the protein is the balance of the 3. Your protein range should be 20 to 30%. Protein provides 4 calories per 1 gram. In order to determine your protein intake by body weight, the recommended is 0.8 kilograms of protein for every 1 kilogram of body weight. Again, this gets a little complicated, but I just wanted to throw it in there. But for example, if you weigh 150 pounds, which comes out to 68.1 kilograms, that equals 55 grams of protein per day. So if you're 150 pounds, your protein intake should be about 55 grams per day. And I put down here again, all of these are based on a standard. It's just your average daily recommendation.
Knowing that proteins equals 4 calories, 1 gram of protein and 1 gram of carb both equal 4 calories. That's an easy switch to make based on if you're starting a new exercise program, you need more protein to combat that stress that you're putting onto your body to repair and build. So as what I like to get clients started more on protein, an emphasis on protein. There is a thermal effect to protein, so your body uses more calories and has to heat up in order to digest protein more. So there's an added benefit to that, especially if you're trying to lose weight. But once you're into working out and your body has adapted to the weight training program, and it's an easy switch between carbs and proteins. But while protein goes down, carbs go up to combat more of the performance or the energy you need for your next workout. So your body is more adapted to the stress, and you just increase your carbs and decrease your proteins while you just kind of modify the fats. So, basics. Circadian rhythm, so this is something that I just want to kind of briefly talk about, but something definitely to be aware about and maybe kind of picture your day based on the circadian rhythm. So a circadian rhythm is something, it's based on the sun and the moon and your energy patterns throughout the day. So most of us wake up in the morning and go to sleep at night. This is a general flow of how your energy should be based on cortisol levels and based on what's going on in your body metabolically. So don't go through the timelines here because this can be different, but based on this guideline, a 6 a.m. wake up so when we're waking up, you wake up, and then within a half hour, 45 minutes, there should be some rise in cortisol. So everything starts working. Ideally what you want is the sun to hit your eyes, so it hits your retina, it gets the pituitary glands running, reproductive system starts going, digestive system starts going. So an easy way to kind of think about this cortisol rise in the morning is that hungry, happy, and horny. 3 of those H's that you should experience within the first 30 to 45 minutes. If you wake up, you're not happy, within the first 45 minutes, you don't feel like making love, you don't feel like eating, then there may be something going on within the digestive system or metabolically. Best time to work out is right here or right here. And then if you're in the afternoon, this may just be shifted over a little bit. So A general prescription, best time to work out is 2 to 3 hours after waking in the morning. And then if you're coming back for a night PM workout, or if you do a PM workout, 6 to 7 hours after waking. And of course, this is, you know, everything's all good, and you know, you wake up, you open the sun's hitting your eyes, and you know. But there should be a balance, there should be an energy flow here, where in the morning that our mind is creativity, innovation, and alertness. And then as we start going through the day and we start winding down, that this is the area for repair and growth. And then while we're sleeping, our body is repairing, our organs are repairing, and then we wake up back with a cortisol level rise. So the cortisol level should go based on that. This is very, very hard based on coaches and personal trainers and health coaches, because most of their circadian rhythm is completely off if they have AM, EM, PM clients or classes that they have to teach. And this is very tough for first responders, nurses, firefighters, police officers, based on their shifts that they work. So their circadian rhythm is way off. And you actually find that those people, the first responders, age a lot faster.